This is one of those true-to-life stories that reminds us how powerful a single choice can be. A simple traffic stop. A tired single dad just trying to hold everything together. A young police officer faced with a decision. And one afternoon that quietly changed two lives forever. If you love emotional, real-life stories about kindness, humanity, and second chances, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps these meaningful stories coming. Now let's dive in. It was a cold Tuesday afternoon in a quiet suburban town in the Midwest United States. The sky hung low and gray, the kind of overcast that made the bare trees look even more skeletal, and the world feel a little heavier. Daniel Parker's old blue sedan hugged the curb as the flashing red and blue lights filled his rearview mirror. His heart sank straight into his stomach. 34 years old, with calloused hands and tired eyes that had seen too many early mornings and too few good nights, Daniel gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. He was a single father to 7-year-old Lily and had been ever since his wife, Sarah, passed away from cancer 3 years earlier. The grief still lived in him like a quiet shadow, always there, even on the better days. Life had become an endless tightrope walk. He worked full-time at a local warehouse, loading trucks from 5 a.m. until sometimes 6 or 7 p.m. mornings meant rushing Lily to school or daycare. Evenings meant helping with homework, cooking simple dinners, washing clothes, and trying to stretch every paycheck so thin it was almost transparent. Groceries, rent, utilities, medical bills from Sarah's final month, everything pressed down on him constantly. He hadn't taken a real day off in years. That particular Tuesday, Lily had woken up with a mild fever. Daniel had begged his supervisor for an extra hour in the morning to take her to the clinic and get her settled at home. The boss had reluctantly agreed, but warned him not to be late again. Now racing back to pick her up before another caregiver had to leave, Daniel had let the speedometer creep up. Just 15 miles over, just enough, Officer Emily Carter stepped out of her patrol car. She was in her late 20s with blonde hair pulled into a neat bun beneath her cap and a crisp uniform that spoke of quiet professionalism. She approached the driver's side with measured steps, her expression calm but alert. "Good afternoon, sir," she said, her voice steady but not unkind. "I'm Officer Emily Carter. Do you know why I pulled you over today?" Daniel swallowed hard, his mouth dry. "Yes, ma'am. I was speeding." "I'm sorry." Emily nodded and asked for his license and registration. As Daniel leaned over to open the glove compartment, his hands shook slightly. The familiar wave of shame and anxiety washed over him, the fear of another bill he couldn't afford, another setback in a life that already felt like it was one mistake away from collapsing. While he searched, Emily glanced into the back seat. A child's booster seat with a faded pink cover caught her eye. Next to it sat a small backpack decorated with cartoon unicorns. Her gaze softened just a fraction. "You have a child?" she asked gently. "Yes," Daniel replied, handing over his documents. "My daughter, Lily. She's 7. Emily took the papers and returned to her patrol car to run his information. Daniel sat staring straight ahead, mentally calculating the damage. A speeding ticket for 15 over would be at least a couple $100 money he had already mentally allocated for groceries. Lily's new winter coat, or the heating bill that was already behind. He closed his eyes and whispered a quiet prayer under his breath. When Emily returned, she held her ticket book in one hand. "Mr. Parker," she began, "you were going 15 miles over the limit in a school zone area. That's a serious violation." Daniel nodded, accepting his fate. "I understand. I wasn't paying attention. It's on me. I'm not going to make excuses. But life's been really hard lately." Emily paused, studying him. Something in his voice, the exhaustion, the quiet desperation, made her hesitate. "What do you do for work?" "I work at the warehouse on Industrial Drive," he said. "Early mornings, long shifts, trying to keep up." "And your wife?" Emily asked carefully. "If you don't mind me asking." Daniel looked down at his hands. "She passed away 3 years ago. Cancer. It's just me and Lily now." The pen in Emily's hand stopped moving. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. She looked at the half-written ticket, then back at the man sitting in the old sedan. She thought about her own younger sister, who had become a single mom last year. She thought about how heavy the world could feel when you carried it alone. "If you weren't married," Emily said slowly, a small, almost playful smile touching her lips, "I might have added my number to this ticket instead of a fine." Daniel blinked, caught off guard. "I'm not married." Emily chuckled softly, then caught herself and cleared her throat, returning to her professional tone. "Sorry, that came out wrong." But the brief moment of lightness had already cracked the tension. Daniel let out a weak laugh, the first time he had smiled all day. Emily closed the ticket book with a decisive snap. "Here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Parker. I'm issuing you a warning today." Daniel's eyes widened in genuine shock. "Really?" "Yes," she said firmly. "But I need you to promise me something." "Anything," he replied quickly, voice thick with emotion. "Slow down. Not just on the road, though, that too. Your daughter needs you safe. The world needs good fathers like you to stick around." Daniel nodded, tears threatening to spill. "I promise. Thank you." Emily handed back his license and registration. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small business card. "This is for the Maple Grove Community Center. They have programs for single parents' food assistance, after-school care, parenting workshops, even financial counseling. A lot of people don't know about it." Daniel took the card like it was made of fragile glass. "I had no idea this existed." "Most people don't until they need it," Emily said kindly. She walked back to her patrol car and returned with a small brown paper bag. "I keep a few of these in the car for moments like this. Snacks, juice boxes, some fruit, and a $25 grocery gift card. It's nothing official, just something I started doing on my own." Daniel accepted the bag, his throat too tight to speak at first. Tears finally slipped down his cheeks. "You have no idea what this means to me today. I was so close to breaking." Emily smiled warmly, her own eyes glistening just a little. "I think I do. Drive safe, Mr. Parker. Take care of that little girl." As Daniel pulled away from the curb, the weight on his shoulders felt noticeably lighter. It wasn't just avoiding the fine. It was the simple fact that someone had truly seen him not as a reckless driver or another statistic, but as a struggling human being doing his best. That evening, when he finally got home, Lily was waiting on the couch, wrapped in her favorite blanket, her cheeks still flushed from the fever. She noticed the paper bag immediately. "Daddy, what's that?" she asked, eyes bright with curiosity. Daniel knelt down and hugged her tight. "Just a little help from a very kind person, sweetheart. We're going to be okay." Lily smiled sleepily. "Are we really okay, Daddy?" "Yeah, baby," he whispered, brushing her hair back. "We really are." Over the next few weeks, Daniel visited the Maple Grove Community Center. At first, he felt embarrassed walking through the doors, but the staff welcomed him without judgment. He enrolled Lily in their after-school program, which gave him peace of mind during his long shifts. They helped him access food pantry services, connected him with a grief support group for widowers, and even offered budgeting workshops that helped him finally get ahead on bills. Slowly, the constant panic in his chest began to ease. He started sleeping better. He made friends with other single parents who understood exactly what he was going through. For the first time in years, he didn't feel completely alone. Life didn't become easy overnight. There were still hard days, missed school events, exhausted evenings, moments when he missed Sarah so much it hurt. But now there was support, there was hope, and there was the memory of a young police officer who chose compassion over citation. Officer Emily Carter, meanwhile, continued her shifts. To her, that traffic stop had been one small moment among many. She had seen plenty of struggling families, and she tried, in her own quiet way, to make their load a little lighter whenever she could. She never expected anything in return. Then, nearly 3 years later, a letter arrived at the police station addressed to her. Emily sat at her desk during a quiet moment and opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note and a small school photo of a bright-eyed girl with pigtails. "Dear Officer Carter, I don't know if you'll remember me, but I've never forgotten you. My name is Daniel Parker. 3 years ago, You pulled me over for speeding on a cold Tuesday afternoon. Instead of a ticket that might have broken us, you gave me a warning, a community center card, and a paper bag with snacks and a gift card. That day, I was at the lowest point I had been since losing my wife. I was exhausted, scared, and running on fumes. Your kindness was the turning point I desperately needed. Lily is now 10 years old and thriving. She's doing well in school, has friends, and even joined the soccer team. I got promoted at the warehouse last year to a supervisor position, with better hours and pay. I'm dating someone wonderful now, someone who understands my past and loves Lily like her own. None of this would have happened without that one moment of grace you showed us. Thank you for seeing me as a person, not just a problem. Thank you for reminding me that kindness still exists in the world. With eternal gratitude, Daniel Parker Emily read the letter twice, then sat quietly for a long time. The school photo of Lily smiling up at her, a single tear rolled down her cheek. Kindness doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't always come with grand gestures or viral moments. Sometimes it looks like a warning instead of a ticket, a resource card instead of judgment, a paper bag with snacks, and a few kind words when someone feels invisible. You never know what battles the person in front of you is fighting. The impatient driver, the quiet cashier, the stressed parent at the store, they might be carrying burdens you can't see. A small act of understanding, patience, or generosity could be exactly what they need to keep going. Let's choose compassion. Let's choose to see people. And let's spread kindness one moment, one interaction, one choice at a time, because sometimes that single choice doesn't just change an afternoon. It changes a life.